Hi there, this is Chris over at 3D Palace. How you doing? Okay, now this is basically going to be a mechanical mastery set, and because of this, I really want to kind of talk to you about what that means, and also talk about kind of some of the psychology behind what we're going to be doing. Okay, so let's start off with our first image. Now, this is from cglayer.co.uk. I haven't actually asked them for permission, I was just browsing this and found it on Google image search. Now, this is the Necron Monolith from Games Workshop, yeah? This is the actual website itself for Games Workshop, and this is their Necron Monolith. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a kind of template, this actual image here. And using this as a template, I'm then going to add detail to it. I'm going to kind of go on from there, make it our own design. I'm not actually going to be making the monolith so much as I'm going to be making something. I don't know whether it's similar, whether it's better, whether it's less good, who cares. I'm trying to kind of follow the whole idea of what this is supposed to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically draft out this shape here, which isn't very complicated. We can do that quite quickly, and then from there we're going to start adding in our own levels of detail, and this is kind of what makes what you're doing so fun, and also what adds the element of complexity to it. Okay, so first things first, what we're using, we've got 3D Studio Max, as you know here. I'm also going to be using Edge Checks, which is an excellent little plugin. If I just go into my modifier panel and do Edge Checks, you can see here it basically allows me to chamfer. There we go. And it gives you all sorts of options for this, whether you're doing a standard chamfering or whatever. Let's bring that down again. So it's a very useful little tool. I'm also going to be using just the standard kind of comes with 3D Studio Max tools. And as a renderer, I'm probably going to be using our old friend Mental Ray. Okay. To keep things easy, I tend to use a projects folder. So for this, for example, I can save as, and if I go to my projects folder over here, I can create a new folder for it, which I'm going to call Necro. I don't know, I need a Necro thing. There we go, Necro thing. Well, Neco thing anyway. And then I can work in here, and I usually start with a workbench file. There we go. And that way I can do any kind of edits I want on the fly. Okay, so I think we're pretty much ready to start work. So what I'm going to do is dig out my shape overall. Now, I don't have a model of the Games Workshop Necron Monolith in front of me. I've got a couple of pictures of what one looks like. I'm not really that interested overall in the actual Games Workshop model. I'm interested in the concept behind it. I'm interested in the ideas behind it. Now, what we have here is kind of the archetypal sci-fi zombie kind of thing, you know? Mindless zombies that float around in these huge kind of floating crypts, appearing in the middle of groups of warriors and slaughtering them. That's what I've got pretty much from it. I'm pretty much on the ball, I think, with it as well. So, it's an old race, it's technologically advanced. So, if we look at this image here, this isn't saying to me old race, technologically advanced. It's saying we're floating around in a polystyrene block. No disrespect to the person who made this render, because he's made it directly from the model, and it is a very good interpretation of the model. However, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to use the shapes, but that's as much as I'm going to do. So, if I just zoom in on this, what I'm going to do is kind of block out the overall shape first. So for this, I'm going to use a box, drag it to any old shape, and I'm going to call it my main low poly shape. Shape. Okay, and this is going to allow me to basically mess around with shapes and dimensions. Right, Now the first thing I'm going to do is just change the dimensions. So I'm making it a box 100 by 100 by 100. And if I go to my move tool here and just change this to 0 on all 3 axes, convert to edgeable polygon. Okay, and from here I can kind of go on. So up here I'm going to get my scale tool and just scale it in. Don't need to scale it in too much. And then down here, press G to get rid of my grid. I'm going to bevel it down and in. Like I said before, it's not really a complicated shape. And we're just using some kind of pure modeling techniques as much as possible here. Bring that down to about there. Okay. Next, I'm going to go straight through here, do a connect. Straight through here, do a connect. And selecting both these. Just going to go around the edges. Like that. Now I'm going to a chamfer. I'm going to chamfer these to about here. Like that. Okay, that's fine. Select the parts I want, which are all these ones. Oops. No, I should check include back facing there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is use the extrude tool by local normal and just bring this in to about here, like so. Now you can see that the top and bottom aren't especially straight. We can sort that out using the scale tool. Again, like I say, we're just building ourselves kind of a shape to work with here. Now notice I've got my rotate key bound to my control R, so that when I hit R I go into my right view, just in case you're wondering. Okay, just flatten that out. And again, I'm just going to scale down on the Z axis here, and that just flattens those nicely. Okay, that's quite nice. Okay, next, I'm going to go right through here, and just do a connect. Oh, didn't quite go all the way through, hang on a second. Ignore back facing off. Now do a connect. Hang on. Better undo that first. There we are. Okay, that's fine. Now, this is more or less where the entrance to this kind of system is here. So what I'm going to do is just select here, here, and here, and maybe here, and also here, 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 and here. And, you know, I could have picked any of these 4 sides incidentally. I'm just going to do a connect, and that brings these lines down that way. Now I'm going to kill some polygons. So just select these 3 and delete them off, which makes our object hollow for the moment. Now I'm going to delete these 3 and these 3, like so. And then if I select here and here, and just do a bridge, I can do it again here to here. I don't do them one at a time because otherwise you have to apply twists and things to them, which is a real pain in the backside. There we go, and bridge. Okay, that was a nice easy piece. So that leaves us this space here, which we can cap, and this space here, which we can cap. Now, this is the very basic shape, alright? This is nothing exciting. We haven't done anything that's going to wow anybody, really, okay? Final thing, really, just that I want to do, is to take this and inset it manually. And scale it, and I'm going to use my local coordinate system just to kind of scale it down a bit. In. Okay, and that is, you know, the basic shape. Okay, up here, if you want to continue it on, I'll inset these a little bit and extrude these up to about there. Go to my front viewport and change this to view. Just kind of follow the lines on using your artistic judgment. I know a lot of tutorial sites kind of try not to let you use your artistic judgment and want you to lock it away in a box somewhere. However, I really do encourage you, wherever possible, to use artistic judgment. There we go. You'd be surprised just how powerful a tool for measuring your eye can be sometimes. Okay, perspective. Okay, that's given us these shapes here on the top. Ooh. Now on the back, there's kind of a thing that curves over, and for that, I'll just quickly see if I can find myself a reference, just for my own benefit. There we go. Here's one from Games Workshop. I'll just let it load. Good old Games Workshop. Now if we look, it's that thing there that just curves over the top. There, behind that kind of circular thing. So if I go over this side, I'm not going to mess around building the circular thing, because I think that's a very bad idea, and I also don't think the curved shape kind of works particularly. However, I'm not one to say, oh no, let's not do it. So, I'm going to go to there, and then what I'm going to do is just kind of thin this down a bit. Just like that. Now if I take a copy of it by holding shift and dragging the polygon to about there, I'll just clone it to an element, because I can delete it again in a minute, and then do a hinge from edge. Pick my hinge, I'm going to pick that fellow there, make it a 90-degree angle, and throw some segs in. Okay, it's not bad so far. Select that, and I'll grow it back. And there's a couple of ways we can taper this. We could actually use the taper, or we can use an FFD. I'm going to use an FFD once I've drank some water. Water. Okay, FFD, and we'll use a 3x3x3 because it's a good shape. Now you've got to be careful when you select these. So I'm going to click here, and that gets us into control points. And I'm going to select my control points very carefully. Them ones. See? That was careful-ish. Now I'm going to scale these in. Like that. Wow, Chris, that was careful, you're saying to yourself, no doubt. Now up here, I'm going to grab these control points and just bring them up a bit. Wow, Chris, that is so methodical, you're saying. However, it's working, so don't knock it. Now these ones. Okay, that's fine. Convert to editable poly. And I'm not going to do the kind of weird decals on it. What I'm doing is keeping this as a shape for us to start off with, alright? Now, for this part, I want to select here, 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 and here. Hello. And for these ones, I'm going to use an inset to about there. Yeah, it's quite nice. Now, I'm going to delete that polygon. A couple of methods we can use to go back into this now. We use an extrude by local normal. We can kind of bring it straight back up in like this, but we are going to have to do some minor repair work. Okay, and you've also got to be careful that you're not having intersecting polygons. So, you'll notice it's correct at the top there, but not correct at these sides. We can go and correct this manually though, so don't worry. Right, here's two of them. Let's just line them up to here, to about there. And, you know, just take your time, line them up. Just making our basic shape to start off with. Hopefully this is giving you some ideas, and also showing you some of the things that are going to come in useful later on in this journey. And if you really, really don't like the whole kind of freehand style, go and watch some Bob Ross. Yeah? Whenever I need some inspiration about doing things by eye, Bob Ross is the single greatest inspiration for any artist anywhere, with his happy little trees. There we go. And now I can straighten this part up, and lo and behold, doesn't look too bad. Now, oh look, there's a big hole, you're saying to yourself. You know how to fix this. We're just going to use a target weld. Before we do, let's just make sure there's no edges that shouldn't be in there. Nope, there isn't. There must be some inverted polygons going on here. See what I can find. Although, to be honest, if it's being awkward like this, there's an easier way. There's the culprit. Yon big polygon. See? Right. What I was going to say, however, was the easy way, if you're having problems like that, is to select these three, delete them, and then bridge across. However, now that I've found what the problem was, I can go into target weld. Okay. Now, as you can see, we have kind of this shape going now. We don't have a mount in place up here for where the kind of control jewel, or whatever the hell it's called, is. But I'm sure we can come up with something. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this overall shape that's been built, and I mean, you can see already this is kind of a low polygon. This is a low polygon model you could pretty much chuck in a Dawn of War, as long as you put some textures on it and some decals. But we're going to turn this into something a lot more fun, a lot more interesting, and a lot more sinister. So, hopefully that was a nice kind of warm-up introduction for you, and it's got you used to some of 3D Studio Max's tools. And in the next part, we're going to start doing fun things. So until then, thanks for watching, bye-bye for now.